The unexpected ambassador. The day Earth joined the Galactic Alliance should have been momentous. Instead, it was Wednesday, and Jack Harrison was late for work. He sprinted through the crowded streets of New Chicago, dodging self-driving cars and weaving between throngs of people, all eyes glued to the holographic news feeds floating above the sidewalks. Alien ships hovered in the sky, their sleek, crystalline forms a stark contrast to the steel and glass skyscrapers below. "First contact," Jack muttered, rolling his eyes. "More like first traffic jam." As he rounded the corner to his office building, a deafening boom shook the ground. Jack stumbled, nearly falling into a startled group of tourists. He looked up to see a massive portal tear open in the sky, swirling with impossible colors. From its depths emerged a ship that dwarfed even the largest alien vessels already present. "Oh, come on," Jack groaned. "I'm going to get fired because of some cosmic light show." But as he turned to enter his building, a beam of light shot down from the new ship, engulfing him. Jack felt a tingling sensation spread through his body, and then, in a blink, he was gone. When Jack's vision cleared, he found himself in a vast, domed chamber. Beings of all shapes and sizes surrounded him, their forms ranging from vaguely humanoid to utterly alien. Some floated in the air, others slithered across the floor, and still others seemed to phase in and out of reality itself. "Welcome, human," a melodious voice echoed in his mind. "You have been chosen." Jack spun around, searching for the source of the voice. His eyes fell upon a towering figure, its body composed of swirling energy barely contained within a translucent, humanoid form. "Chosen? For what?" Jack asked, his voice surprisingly steady despite the panic rising in his chest. "And who are you?" The energy being's form rippled, and Jack got the distinct impression it was amused. "I am Zixlar, Grand Arbiter of the Galactic Alliance, and you, Jack Harrison of Earth, have been chosen as your planet's ambassador." Jack blinked, certain he had misheard. "I'm sorry, what? There must be some mistake. I'm just an accountant. I'm not even good at public speaking." Zixlar's form pulsed with what Jack assumed was laughter. "The cosmic concordance makes no mistakes, human. You were selected by forces beyond your comprehension. Your potential, your very essence, resonates with the fabric of the universe in a way that makes you uniquely suited for this role." Jack's mind reeled. This had to be a dream, some bizarre, stress-induced hallucination. He pinched himself, wincing at the very real pain. But why me? Why not a politician or a diplomat? A smaller alien, resembling a cross between a squid and a crystal chandelier, floated forward. Its tentacles waved in intricate patterns as it spoke, its words translated directly into Jack's mind. "The old ways of selection have failed us," the alien said, its mental voice tinged with what Jack interpreted as wariness. "Wars, corruption, and mistrust have plagued the galaxy for millennia. The cosmic concordance seeks those with untapped potential, minds unbound by the constraints of traditional diplomacy." Jack ran a hand through his hair, trying to process the insanity of the situation. "So, what? You're saying I have some kind of special destiny?" Zixlar's form shimmered. "In a manner of speaking, yes. But destiny is not a fixed path, Jack Harrison. It is a series of choices, of moments that shape the future. You stand at such a moment now." Another alien stepped forward, this one resembling a sentient tree with glowing, fruit-like organs. "You may choose to accept this role," it said, its voice a rustling whisper in Jack's mind, "or you may return to your life on Earth. But know that your decision will have far-reaching consequences for your species and the galaxy at large." Jack's head spun. He was just a normal guy, content with his ordinary life. He had never asked for this kind of responsibility. And yet, a part of him, a part he had always tried to ignore, yearned for something more. A chance to make a difference, to be part of something greater than himself. "What? What would I have to do?" Jack asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Zixlar's form brightened. "You would serve as the voice of humanity in the Galactic Alliance. You would learn our ways, share your own, and help forge a new era of cooperation between species. It will not be easy. You will face challenges beyond your imagination, dangers that will test the very limits of your species' potential. The squid crystal alien chimed in. But you will not be alone. You will have access to the combined knowledge and resources of 1,000 civilizations. And you will have us, the Council of Arbiters, to guide you. Jack took a deep breath, his mind racing. This was insane. It was too much responsibility, too much pressure. He was just an accountant, for crying out loud. But as he looked around the chamber, at the incredible diversity of life surrounding him, he felt something stir within him. A sense of wonder, of possibility, that he hadn't felt since he was a child dreaming of exploring the stars. I'll do it, Jack said, surprising himself with the firmness in his voice. I don't know if I'm the right person for this job, but I'll give it everything I've got. A ripple of what Jack could only describe as approval spread through the assembled aliens. Zixlar's form expanded, tendrils of energy reaching out to envelop Jack in a warm, tingling embrace. Then let it be known, Zixlar's voice boomed, resonating not just in Jack's mind, but in the very air around them, that Jack Harrison of Earth is now the ambassador of humanity to the Galactic Alliance. May your journey be one of discovery, growth, and unity. As the words faded, Jack felt a surge of energy course through him. Knowledge flooded his mind, languages, cultures, histories of 1,000 worlds. It was overwhelming, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. When the surge subsided, Jack found himself changed. He stood taller, his senses sharper, his mind expanding to encompass concepts he had never dreamed possible. And yet, at his core, he was still Jack Harrison, the guy who had been worried about being late for work just moments ago. So, Jack said, a nervous smile playing on his lips, where do we start? The next few hours, or was it days? Time seemed to flow differently here, were a whirlwind of introductions, briefings, and preparations. Jack met representatives from hundreds of species, each more bizarre and fascinating than the last. He learned of galactic politics, of ancient conflicts and fragile alliances, of technologies that bordered on magic and sciences that defied human understanding. Through it all, Jack clung to his humanity, to the unique perspective that had, apparently, made him the ideal candidate for this role. Where others saw insurmountable differences, he found common ground. Where ancient grudges threatened to derail negotiations, he brought humor and a fresh outlook. It wasn't until the end of his first official day as ambassador that Jack had a moment to himself. Standing on a balcony overlooking a vast alien cityscape, stars he didn't recognize twinkling in the sky above, he finally let the reality of his situation sink in. What have I gotten myself into? He whispered to himself. A grand adventure, I should think, came a voice from behind him. Jack turned to see a tall, willowy alien with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. She, at least, Jack thought it was a she, smiled at him with an expression that was somehow both alien and familiar. Ambassador Lyra, Jack said, recalling the name from one of his many briefings. I didn't realize anyone else was up here. Lyra moved to stand beside him, her movements graceful and fluid. I often come here to think, she said, her voice like music in Jack's mind. It helps to see the bigger picture, especially on days like this. Jack nodded, turning back to the view. It's all so overwhelming. Yesterday, my biggest worry was filing my taxes on time. Now you carry the hopes and fears of your entire species, Lyra finished for him. It is a heavy burden, but one I believe you are uniquely suited to bear. Jack glanced at her, curious. You seem awfully confident in someone you just met, especially a member of a species that's brand new to the galactic stage. Lyra's smile widened, and Jack could have sworn he saw stars twinkling in her eyes. Perhaps I see something in you that you have yet to recognize in yourself. Before Jack could respond, an alarm blared throughout the complex. Red lights flashed, and Jack felt a surge of panic from the aliens around him. What's happening? he asked, his newfound knowledge failing to provide an explanation for the chaos erupting around them. Lyra's expression turned grim. It appears your first test as ambassador has arrived sooner than expected. Come, we must get to the council chambers immediately. As they raced through the corridors, Jack's mind whirled with possibilities. Had Earth done something to offend the Alliance? Was there some cosmic threat he hadn't been briefed on yet? Or was this all some elaborate test of his abilities? When they burst into the council chambers, Jack was met with a scene of pandemonium. Aliens of all descriptions were arguing, their mental voices creating a cacophony that threatened to overwhelm him. At the center of it all stood Zixlar, its energy form pulsing with barely contained agitation. Silence. Zixlar's voice boomed, bringing a momentary hush to the chamber. Ambassador Harrison, we face a crisis that threatens the very foundation of the Alliance. A crisis that, I fear, only you may be able to resolve. Jack swallowed hard, feeling the weight of 1,000 alien gazes upon him. What kind of crisis? Zixlar's form shimmered, and a holographic image appeared in the center of the room. It showed a massive ship, unlike any Jack had seen before, approaching a swirling anomaly in space. This vessel belongs to the Void Walkers, Zixlar explained, its mental voice grave. A species we believe to be long extinct. They have reappeared on the edge of known space, headed for a temporal rift that could grant them access to any point in our history. The squid crystal alien from earlier floated forward. If they succeed, they could alter the very fabric of our reality. Erase civilizations from existence, reshape the galaxy to their will. Jack's mind raced, trying to process the implications. Why me? What can I possibly do against a threat like this? Lyra stepped forward, her eyes locked on Jack. Because, Ambassador Harrison, the Void Walkers were once human. The revelation hit Jack like a physical blow. He staggered, his mind reeling. What? How is that possible? We've barely left our solar system. Zixlar's form pulsed with urgency. Time is not always linear, Ambassador. The Void Walkers are humans from a potential future, one where your species conquered the stars but lost its humanity in the process. They seek to ensure their timeline comes to pass, to shape humanity's destiny through force. Jack looked around the chamber, seeing fear, hope, and uncertainty in the alien faces surrounding him. He took a deep breath, straightening his shoulders. Okay, he said, his voice steadier than he felt. What do we do? How do we stop them? Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch sending a spark of energy through him. That, Jack Harrison, is what you must decide. The fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy now rests in your hands. As the weight of this responsibility settled upon him, Jack felt a strange calm descend. He was just an accountant from Earth, thrust into a role he never asked for. But he was also humanity's ambassador, chosen by forces beyond his understanding. And he would be damned if he let his species become the villains of this cosmic story. All right, Jack said, his voice ringing clear through the chamber. Let's save the galaxy. A bond beyond worlds. Jack Harrison stood at the helm of the Cosmic Envoy, a ship that defied his comprehension. Its bio-organic hull pulsed with life, adapting to the crew's needs in real time. As Earth's unlikely ambassador, he led a diverse team of aliens on a desperate mission to stop the Void Walkers, humanity's twisted future selves. Ambassador, we're approaching the Nexus Veil, announced Zixlar, the energy being's form shimmering with anticipation. Jack nodded, his eyes fixed on the swirling cosmic anomaly ahead. The Nexus Veil, a phenomenon where multiple realities converged, was their best chance at intercepting the Void Walkers before they could alter history. Take us in, but keep our quantum signature masked, Jack ordered, surprising himself with his newfound knowledge of trans-dimensional travel. As the Cosmic Envoy penetrated the veil, reality itself seemed to fracture around them. Jack's stomach lurched as multiple versions of the ship overlapped, each representing a different potential outcome of their mission. Quantum flux stabilizing, reported Lyra, her iridescent skin flickering through a kaleidoscope of colors. But I'm detecting an anomaly in the ship's core. Something's changing. Before Jack could respond, a blinding light erupted from the center of the bridge. When it faded, a new figure stood among them, a being that seemed to flicker in and out of existence, its form never quite settling on a single shape. "Greetings, travelers," the being's voice echoed in their minds, sounding like a chorus of whispers. "I am Eternity's child, guardian of the Nexus Veil. Your presence here has interesting implications." Jack stepped forward, instinctively positioning himself between the new arrival and his crew. "We're on a mission to stop a grave threat. The Void Walkers." "Ah yes, the lost children of humanity," Eternity's child interrupted, its form briefly settling into a mirror image of Jack before shifting again. "But tell me, Ambassador, do you truly understand what you face?" With a wave of its ever-changing hand, Eternity's child conjured a series of holographic images. Jack watched in awe as the history of the Void Walkers unfolded before him. He saw a future Earth ravaged by climate change and war. Humanity, driven to desperation, unlocked the secrets of quantum manipulation. They reshaped their bodies and minds, transcending their physical forms to become beings of pure energy and thought. But with this transformation came a terrible price. The Void Walkers lost touch with their humanity, viewing organic life as inferior and obsolete. They set out across the cosmos, reshaping reality to fit their vision of perfection. "This is a future we're trying to prevent," Jack said, his voice barely above a whisper. Eternity's child tilted its ever-shifting head. "Is it? Or is it simply one possibility among infinite others?" "The Nexus Veil shows all potential futures, Ambassador, including ones where humanity becomes a shining beacon of hope for the galaxy." As if on cue, new images appeared. Jack saw humans and aliens working side by side, terraforming dead worlds and unlocking the secrets of the universe. He saw a galactic civilization built on cooperation and mutual understanding, with Earth at its heart. "Both of these futures are possible," Eternity's child explained. "The question is, which one will you choose?" Jack felt the weight of this decision pressing down on him. How could he, a former accountant from Chicago, be expected to shape the destiny of his entire species? I don't know," Jack admitted. "How can I possibly make this choice?" Eternity's child's form settled briefly, taking on an appearance that reminded Jack of his grandfather. "Perhaps you need a guide, someone to help you navigate the complexities of time and choice." With another wave of its hand, a swirling portal opened on the bridge. From its depths emerged a figure that made Jack's heart skip a beat. She was undeniably alien, with skin that shimmered like the surface of a soap bubble and eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. Yet there was something hauntingly familiar about her features, a hint of humanity in her otherworldly beauty. "Ambassador Harrison," Eternity's child said, "meet Aria, the Cosmic Weaver. She is unique among her kind." Aria stepped forward, her movements graceful and fluid. When she spoke, her voice resonated in Jack's mind like a melody he had always known but never heard. "Hello, Jack," she said, a small smile playing on her lips. "I've been waiting a long time to meet you." Jack found himself at a loss for words. There was something about Aria that both thrilled and terrified him. It was as if he was looking at a piece of himself he never knew was missing. "Aria is a child of two worlds," Eternity's child explained. "Born of a union between human and alien, she exists outside the normal flow of time. She has seen the tapestry of possible futures and can guide you through the choices that lie ahead." Jack's mind reeled. A human-alien hybrid. He hadn't even known such a thing was possible. And yet, looking at Aria, he felt a connection that defied explanation. "I don't understand," Jack said. "How can she help us stop the Void Walkers?" Aria's smile widened, and Jack could have sworn he saw stars twinkling in her eyes. "Because, Jack, I'm the key to unlocking humanity's true potential. The Void Walkers represent one possible future for our species. I represent another." As she spoke, Aria reached out and took Jack's hand. The moment their skin touched, a surge of energy coursed through him. Visions flashed before his eyes, glimpses of possible futures, of choices yet to be made. He saw himself standing before the Galactic Council, brokering peace between warring factions. He saw Earth becoming a beacon of hope in a troubled galaxy, and he saw Aria by his side through it all, their unique bond bridging the gap between human and alien. When the visions faded, Jack found himself breathless. He looked at Aria with new eyes, seeing not just her alien beauty, but the spark of humanity that burned within her. You're my descendant," Jack realized, the words feeling strange on his tongue. Aria nodded. "In one possible future, yes. But that future is in jeopardy. The Void Walkers seek to erase it, to ensure their timeline comes to pass. We must stop them, not just for the sake of the galaxy, but for the sake of what humanity could become." Jack turned to his crew, seeing the mix of awe and uncertainty on their alien faces. Even Zixlar, usually so composed, seemed shaken by these revelations. "What do you think?" Jack asked them. "Can we trust her?" Lyra stepped forward, her iridescent skin shimmering with emotion. "I sense no deception in her, Ambassador. And if she truly holds the key to stopping the Void Walkers, we cannot afford to turn away her help." Jack nodded, feeling the weight of command settling on his shoulders. He turned back to Aria, his decision made. "All right," he said. "What's our next move?" Aria's expression turned serious. "We must travel to the Crucible of Stars, a place where the barriers between realities are at their weakest. It's there that the Void Walkers plan to enact their final solution, erasing all timelines but their own." "And how exactly do we stop them?" Jack asked, trying to wrap his mind around the cosmic scale of their mission. Aria's eyes met his, and Jack felt a surge of determination flow through their connection. By reminding them of their humanity, by showing them a future worth fighting for. As the cosmic envoy prepared to dive deeper into the Nexus Veil, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that he was stepping into a destiny far greater than he had ever imagined. With Aria by his side and a crew of aliens at his back, he was about to face the greatest threat humanity had ever known, a twisted version of themselves. "Set course for the Crucible of Stars," Jack ordered, his voice ringing with newfound authority. "It's time we showed the Void Walkers what humanity is truly capable of." As the ship surged forward, reality bending around them, Jack felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, this former accountant from Chicago might have what it takes to save the galaxy after all. Survival on the fringe. The cosmic envoy emerged from the Nexus Veil with a violent shudder, alarms blaring throughout the ship. Jack Harrison, Earth's unlikely ambassador, was thrown from his seat, his head spinning as he tried to make sense of the chaos around him. "Status report," he shouted, pulling himself up using a pulsating bioorganic console. Zixlar's energy form flickered erratically. "Multiple system failures, Ambassador." The passage through the veil was more turbulent than anticipated. "We're losing power and—" The ship lurched again, cutting off Zixlar's words. Through the viewscreen, Jack saw a planet rapidly growing larger, its surface a swirling mass of storms and crystalline structures. "Brace for impact," Lyra cried, her iridescent skin paling to a ghostly white. Jack felt a hand grasp his and turned to see Aria, the cosmic weaver, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. In that moment of connection, a surge of knowledge flowed between them. "The Whispering Wastes," Jack gasped, the name appearing in his mind. A forbidden world on the edge of known space. As the ship plummeted towards the planet's surface, Jack made a split-second decision. Everyone to the escape pods. Now. The crew scrambled to obey, aliens of all shapes and sizes rushing towards the emergency exits. Jack hesitated, looking back at the ship's controls. "Jack, we have to go," Aria urged, tugging at his arm. With a pang of regret, Jack nodded and followed her to the last remaining escape pod. As they strapped in, he caught a final glimpse of the cosmic envoy, its bio-organic hull breaking apart as it entered the planet's atmosphere. The escape pod jettisoned with a violent lurch, and Jack's world became a kaleidoscope of fire and turbulence. He clung to Arya's hand, their minds linked in a desperate attempt to navigate the chaos. When the pod finally crashed, skidding across a landscape of jagged crystals and swirling mists, Jack's last thought before losing consciousness was a grim realization. They were stranded on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Jack awoke to the sound of whispers, not spoken words, but a constant, ethereal murmur that seemed to come from the very air around him. He'd opened his eyes, wincing at the pain that shot through his body, and found himself staring at a sky that defied description. Swirling clouds of bioluminescent gas danced overhead, forming patterns that seemed almost meaningful. The whispers grew louder, and Jack realized with a start that the patterns and the sounds were connected, as if the planet itself was trying to communicate. "Be careful," Arya's voice came from beside him. "The whispering wastes have driven many mad with their secrets." Jack turned to see her emerging from the wreckage of their escape pod, her skin shimmering with an otherworldly glow that seemed to resonate with the planet's energy. "Are you all right?" he asked, striving to his feet. Arya nodded, her eyes scanning the alien landscape. "I'm fine, but we need to find the others quickly. This planet, it's not safe to be alone here." As if in response to her words, a piercing shriek cut through the constant whispers. Jack spun around to see a creature unlike anything he had ever imagined. It was as if someone had taken the concept of a predator and twisted it through impossible geometries. The beast's body seemed to fold in on itself, its limbs appearing and disappearing as it moved. Multiple eyes blinked in and out of existence across its shifting form, all fixed hungrily on Jack and Arya. "Run!" Jack yelled, grabbing Arya's hand and pulling her away from the nightmare creature. They sprinted across the crystalline terrain, the beast's impossible howls echoing behind them. The whispers in the air grew more insistent, and Jack felt as if the planet was trying to tell him something crucial, if only he could understand. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the chaos. "Ambassador, over here." Jack looked up to see Lyra waving frantically from the entrance of a cave formed by interlocking crystal formations. Without hesitation, he changed course, practically dragging Arya towards the shelter. As they dove into the cave, Lyra and Zixlar pulled them deeper inside. The creature's howls faded, replaced by the ever-present whispers of the planet. "Are you both all right?" Lyra asked, her iridescent skin pulsing with concern. Jack nodded, trying to catch his breath. "Thanks to you. Have you seen any of the others?" Zixlar's energy form dimmed slightly. "We've made contact with a few, but many of the escape pods were scattered across a wide area. We're alone out here, Ambassador." The gravity of their situation began to sink in. Stranded on a forbidden planet, hunted by nightmarish creatures, with no way to contact the Galactic Alliance. And somewhere out there, the Void Walkers were enacting their plan to rewrite reality itself. "We need to find a way off this planet," Jack said, his mind racing. "There has to be something we can use, some kind of technology or—" He was cut off by a sudden intensification of the whispers. The air around them seemed to shimmer, and for a moment, Jack could have sworn he saw symbols floating in the air. Arya gasped, her eyes wide. "The planet, it's trying to communicate with us." Jack felt a tugging sensation in his mind, as if something was trying to connect with him. He closed his eyes, focusing on the sensation, and suddenly, understanding bloomed. "It's not just a planet," he said, his voice filled with awe. "The entire world is alive, sentient, and it's been waiting for us." The others looked at him in shock, but before anyone could respond, the ground beneath them began to shift. The crystals moved, rearranging themselves to form a pathway deeper into the planet's core. "I think," Jack said, a mix of excitement and trepidation in his voice, "we've just been invited in." As they cautiously made their way down the crystalline path, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of uncovering something monumental. The Whispering Wastes, it seemed, held secrets that could change the course of their mission, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy itself. The deeper they ventured into the planet's core, the more intense the whispers became. Jack felt as if he was on the verge of understanding some great cosmic truth, but it remained just out of reach. Suddenly, the pathway opened up into a vast chamber that defied the laws of physics. It was as if they had stepped into the heart of a star, with swirling energies and impossible geometries surrounding them. At the center of it all stood a being of pure light, its form constantly shifting and changing. When it spoke, its voice resonated not just in their minds, but in the very fabric of reality around them. "Welcome, children of the cosmos," the being said. "I am the conscious core, the living heart of this world you call the Whispering Wastes. For eons I have waited for one such as you to arrive." Jack stepped forward, feeling the weight of this moment in every fiber of his being. "We're honored, but why us? Why now?" The conscious core's form rippled, and Jack got the impression of a sad smile. "Because, Jack Harrison, you and your companions represent a crucial nexus point in the timeline of the universe. The choices you make here will determine the fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life." Images began to form in the swirling energies around them. Jack saw the Void Walkers, their twisted forms a dark mirror of humanity's potential. He saw countless worlds withering under their onslaught, entire civilizations erased from existence. But he also saw hope. He saw humans and aliens working together, unlocking the secrets of the cosmos. He saw Aria, standing at the forefront of a new age of understanding and cooperation. The Void Walkers believe they are saving humanity by enslaving the galaxy, the conscious core explained. But in doing so, they would destroy the very essence of what makes humanity special: your capacity for growth, for change, for forming connections across the boundaries of species and worlds. Aria stepped forward, her hand finding Jack's. "How do we stop them? They have technology far beyond ours, and the power to reshape reality itself." The conscious core's light pulsed, and Jack felt a surge of energy course through him. "I can give you the tools you need, but using them comes at a great cost. You must be willing to sacrifice everything you are for everything you could become." Jack looked at his companions: Aria, with her unique blend of human and alien heritage; Lyra, whose loyalty and compassion had never wavered; Zixar, a being of pure energy who had chosen to stand with humanity. He thought of Earth, of all the people counting on him, without even knowing it. With a deep breath, Jack made his decision. "We're ready. Whatever it takes to save the galaxy, to show the Void Walkers that humanity's true strength lies in our connections, not our conquest." The conscious core's light intensified, enveloping them all. Jack felt his consciousness expanding, merging with the others and with the living planet itself. In that moment of transcendent connection, he understood the true nature of the universe, a vast, interconnected web of life and energy, where every choice rippled across time and space. As the light faded, Jack and his companions found themselves transformed. They were no longer merely physical beings, but something more: avatars of cosmic potential, imbued with the power to stand against the Void Walkers. "The crucible of stars awaits," the conscious core's voice echoed as a portal of pure energy opened before them. "Go now and remember, the greatest power in the universe is not domination, but understanding. Show the Void Walkers what humanity truly is capable of." With newfound determination and power coursing through them, Jack and his team stepped through the portal. They were no longer just a mismatched group of aliens and a human ambassador. They were the galaxy's last hope against a threat born from humanity's darkest potential. As they emerged on the other side, ready to face the Void Walkers and shape the destiny of the cosmos, Jack couldn't help but marvel at how far he'd come. From an ordinary accountant to the linchpin of the galaxy's fate, his journey was proof of humanity's incredible potential for growth and adaptation. The final battle for the future of humanity and the entire galaxy was about to begin. The Cosmic Conspiracy. Jack Harrison and his team materialized in the heart of the crucible of stars, their newly transformed bodies shimmering with cosmic energy. The scene before them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a massive, ethereal structure that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, with swirling vortexes of time and space colliding and intertwining. At the center of it all stood the Void Walkers, their twisted forms a dark reflection of humanity's potential future. Their leader, a being of pure darkness shot through with veins of pulsing energy, turned to face the newcomers. "Ah, the primitives have arrived," the Void Walker leader sneered, its voice a discordant echo that sent shivers down Jack's spine. "Come to witness the rebirth of reality." Jack stepped forward, his body radiating with the power granted by the conscious core. "We're here to stop you. This isn't the way forward for humanity or any species in the galaxy." The Void Walker leader laughed, a sound like shattering glass. "Stop us. You can barely comprehend what we're doing here. We are saving humanity from its own weakness, ensuring our dominance across all of time and space." As the leader spoke, Jack's enhanced senses picked up on something odd. There was a discordant note in the Void Walker's energy, a flicker of doubt. Arya must have sensed it too, because she moved to stand beside Jack, her hybrid nature allowing her to bridge the gap between their team and the Void Walkers. "You're not saving humanity," she said, her voice resonating with cosmic truth. "You're destroying everything that makes us human. Our capacity for growth, for change, for forming connections across the boundaries of species and worlds." The Void Walker leader faltered for a moment, its form flickering. "Lies. We have transcended such primitive notions. We are beyond emotion, beyond connection. We are the ultimate form of life." But Jack could see the cracks forming in the Void Walker's resolve. He pressed on, drawing on the cosmic knowledge flowing through him. "If that were true, why do you need to rewrite reality?" he challenged. "Why erase all other possibilities if your way is truly the best? You're not confident in your choice, you're terrified of the alternatives." The air around them crackled with tension as the other Void Walkers began to stir, murmurs of uncertainty rippling through their ranks. Suddenly, a new voice boomed across the crucible of stars, one that made Jack's blood run cold. "Enough of this foolishness." A figure emerged from the swirling vortexes, its form somehow more solid, more real than even the Void Walkers. Jack gasped as he recognized the face. It was his own, but older, hardened by centuries of existence. "Who? What are you?" Jack stammered, feeling the cosmic energy within him recoil at this new presence. The figure smiled, a cold, calculated expression. "I am the architect, the true mastermind behind the Void Walkers, and you, Jack Harrison, are the final piece in my grand design." Realization dawned on Jack with horrifying clarity. "You're me, a future version of me." The architect nodded, his eyes gleaming with a madness born of too much knowledge and power. "I am what you become when you've seen the true face of the universe, when you've witnessed the heat-death of reality itself. I created the Void Walkers, shepherded their evolution, all to bring about this moment." Arya stepped forward, her form blazing with defiance. "But why? Why destroy everything we could be?" "Because, my dear hybrid child," the architect sneered, "I've seen every possible future, every permutation of reality. And in each one, humanity brings about its own destruction or fades into insignificance. The Void Walkers are the only way to ensure our survival, our dominance." Jack felt the weight of this revelation crushing down on him. Was this truly his destiny? To become this cold, calculating being willing to sacrifice the entire galaxy for a twisted vision of human supremacy? But then he felt it, a warmth spreading through him, a connection to his team, to Arya, to every being they'd encountered on their journey. He remembered the words of the conscious core, the true power of understanding and connection. "No," Jack said, his voice growing stronger with each word. "You're wrong. You've seen every future except the one that matters most, the one we're creating right now." The architect's eyes narrowed. Impossible. I've calculated every variable, every possibility. Except for this one, Arya chimed in, moving to stand beside Jack. A future where humanity doesn't stand alone, but as part of something greater. A galactic community bound by understanding and mutual growth. As they spoke, Jack felt the cosmic energy within him resonating with Arya and the rest of his team. The power granted by the conscious core wasn't just raw energy, it was the distilled essence of connection, of the bonds between all living things. The Void Walkers began to stir, their forms flickering as doubt crept in. The architect's face contorted with rage. Enough, he roared, raising his hands. The very fabric of reality began to warp around them. I'll erase this aberration myself and start anew. But as the architect unleashed his power, Jack and his team stood firm. Drawing on their connection to each other and to the living universe around them, they created a shield of pure cosmic energy. You've forgotten what it means to be human, Jack said, his voice carrying the weight of countless possibilities. We're not defined by our dominance or our isolation. We're defined by our connections, our ability to grow and change together. With those words, Jack reached out not just to his team, but to the Void Walkers themselves. He showed them visions of a future where humanity and alien species worked together, where the boundaries between civilizations blurred and a new, greater whole emerged. The architect screamed in defiance, pouring more power into his assault, but with each moment, more Void Walkers began to waver, their forms shifting as they reconnected with the humanity they'd lost. In a blinding flash of cosmic energy, the crucible of stars itself seemed to come alive, responding to the surge of connection and understanding. The architect's form began to dissolve, his carefully laid plans unraveling in the face of a future he'd never imagined. This isn't the end, the architect snarled as he faded away. There will always be those who seek power above all else. And there will always be those who stand against them, Jack replied, feeling the truth of his words resonate through the cosmos. As the light faded, Jack found himself standing with his team amidst the transformed Void Walkers. The crucible of stars hummed with new energy, a nexus point of infinite possibilities. Arya turned to Jack, her eyes shimmering with starlight. We did it. We changed the future. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of their accomplishments settling over him. Not just the future. We've changed what it means to be human. We've shown that our true strength lies not in domination, but in connection. As they stood there at the crossroads of time and space, Jack Harrison, once an ordinary accountant from Chicago, realized that their journey was far from over. They had prevented one dark future, but the task of building a brighter one was just beginning. With the power of the conscious core flowing through them and the transformed Void Walkers as allies, they had the opportunity to reshape the galaxy. Not through force or dominance, but through understanding, cooperation, and the uniquely human capacity for forging connections across the vastness of space and the boundaries of species. The next chapter of humanity's cosmic adventure was about to begin, and Jack couldn't wait to see where it would lead. Humanity's stand. The crucible of stars pulsed with newfound energy as Jack Harrison and his team stood amidst the transformed Void Walkers. The very fabric of reality seemed to hum with possibility, countless futures branching out before them like the roots of a cosmic tree. So, what now? Lara asked, her iridescent skin shimmering with residual cosmic energy. Jack took a deep breath, feeling the weight of countless civilizations resting on his next decision. Now we rebuild. We show the galaxy what humanity and its allies are truly capable of when we work together. But before they could take their first step towards this new future, a thunderous crack echoed through the crucible. Space itself seemed to splinter, jagged lines of darkness spreading out from a central point. No, Arya gasped, her hybrid senses picking up on something the others couldn't yet perceive. It's not over. From the growing rift emerged a figure that defied description. It was as if someone had taken the concept of entropy itself and given it form. Where it moved, reality unraveled. Foolish creatures, The being's voice resonated on a frequency that made Jack's very atoms tremble. Did you think your petty notions of connection and understanding could rewrite the fundamental laws of existence? Zixlar's energy form pulsed with alarm. Ambassador, we're dealing with something far beyond even the Void Walkers. This is the end, the being finished, its form rippling with dark amusement. The inevitable heat death of the universe given consciousness. Your architect was a mere puppet, unknowingly serving my grand design. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. They had overcome impossible odds, reshaped the destiny of humanity and the galaxy. But how could they stand against the very concept of universal decay? The being continued, its voice a cosmic dirge. All your struggles, your growth, your precious connections, they're meaningless in the face of eternity. The universe will end cold and alone. I am simply hastening the process. For a moment, despair threatened to overwhelm Jack. But then he felt it, a warmth spreading through him, a connection not just to his team, but to every living being in the cosmos. The power granted by the conscious core surged within him, and with it came a revelation. You're wrong, Jack said, his voice carrying the strength of countless civilizations. The end isn't inevitable. Life, consciousness, connection, these aren't just temporary blips in the cosmos. They're the universe experiencing itself, growing, evolving. The being's form flickered, a note of uncertainty creeping into its voice. Impossible. Entropy cannot be defeated. Maybe not defeated, Aria chimed in, moving to stand beside Jack. But transcended. Every connection we forge, every act of understanding between species, it creates something new. Something that exists beyond the physical universe. As they spoke, Jack felt the cosmic energy within him resonating with Aria and the rest of his team. But it didn't stop there. He could sense the transformed Void Walkers joining in, their newfound humanity amplifying the effect. And beyond them, countless alien civilizations across the galaxy, each adding their unique essence to the growing symphony of consciousness. The being of entropy lashed out, tendrils of nullity whipping towards them. But where they struck, they found not physical form, but a network of connections so dense and intricate that even nothingness itself couldn't penetrate. What is this? The being howled, its form beginning to unravel. Jack stepped forward, his body blazing with the combined light of billions of souls. This is life's answer to entropy. Not a final stand, but an eternal dance. A cosmic network of consciousness that grows and adapts, creating meaning in the face of oblivion. The team linked hands, forming a circle with Jack and Aria at its center. As they did, streams of energy began to flow from across the galaxy, converging on the crucible of stars. Each stream carried the hopes, dreams, and collective wisdom of entire civilizations. We are humanity, Jack declared, his voice echoing across dimensions. Not just the humans of Earth, but every sentient being that chooses connection over isolation, growth over stagnation, love over fear. And together, we rewrite the story of the cosmos. With a sound that could have been a big bang in reverse, the being of entropy collapsed in on itself. But instead of nothingness, it left behind a swirling nexus of pure potential, a seed from which new universes could sprout. As the cosmic light faded, Jack found himself standing with his team in a transformed crucible of stars. The boundaries between species, between past and future, between thought and reality itself had blurred. Aria turned to Jack, her eyes reflecting the birth of new galaxies. We did it. We've changed everything. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of their accomplishments settling over him. Not just changed. We've evolved. This isn't the end of our journey. It's a new beginning, not just for humanity, but for all conscious life in the cosmos. Laura's voice chimed in, filled with awe. So what happens now? Now, Jack said, a smile spreading across his face, we explore, we learn, we grow. Together. As they stood there at the dawn of a new cosmic age, Jack Harrison, once an ordinary accountant from Chicago, now the nexus of a galactic awakening, realized that their greatest adventure was just beginning. They had faced the darkness at the heart of humanity's potential future and transformed it into light. They had stared down the heat death of the universe itself and forged a path beyond it. Now, with the combined power of countless civilizations flowing through them, they had the opportunity to shape not just the galaxy, but the very nature of existence itself. The next chapter of the cosmic story was about to unfold, with humanity and its allies as the authors. And as Jack looked out at the infinite possibilities stretching before them, he couldn't help but smile at the incredible journey that had led them here. From an unexpected ambassador to the catalyst of universal transcendence, Jack Harrison and his team had shown that the true power of humanity lay not in domination or technological prowess, but in our capacity for connection, adaptation, and boundless imagination. As they prepared to take their first steps into this new reality, Jack knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, not as separate species, but as a united cosmic consciousness, forever growing, forever exploring, forever human in the deepest sense of the word. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what this new, awakened humanity would create. And Jack Harrison, hand in hand with Aria and his team, was ready to show it wonders beyond imagination.